today I'm going to take you the surveying subject. Okay, so what we will do, we will go for very step by step. Okay, instead of rushing, what we will do, we will go step by step. And in surveying, one thing, keep it in mind, you don't need any high IQ mind. Okay, if you just have a simple IQ mind, simple and normal IQ, okay, and if you know very basic mathematics, that is trigonometry, when we have to take the sine, cos, tan, etc. Okay, simple mathematics like addition, subtraction. Okay, here we won't use any divisions. Okay, divisions are very less. Additions are most important. So with a very basic mathematics and with a very basic concept, we can learn surveying very completely. And one more thing, surveying, if you learn surveying, okay, this means this in this semester, in next semester you have advanced surveying. Okay, so what I say is that learn this subject very well. It not only help you in the next semester or next year, but it will help you a lot in the in the field, sorry, like in road constructions, like in site building works, etc. Okay, so why we should learn and what are the uses, it is already mentioned in the syllabus copy. Just go through it. What are the course objectives, outcomes? Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm going for the very first unit, that is compass surveying and leveling. Okay, so here compass is nothing but a compass surveying, it is a different concept, and leveling is a different concept. Okay, and see, directly going for the compass and leveling, first we will see about the very basic about the surveying. What are the very basic concept of the surveying? What are the principles? What are the types? Okay, what are types of surveying? How it is classified? Okay, and what are the methods, different types of surveying that we are using? So directly going into the concept, what we will do, we will just go through the basic concepts. Okay. What is surveying? Directly going for surveying, what I will do, just yesterday I was explaining you, just I will explain it once more. Shabash. My pen is not working. Okay. See here, if this is your road, okay, and you have some undulations, okay, undulations like this, you can't construct the road over here. Okay, means you can't take the road like this. Okay, again up and down like this, correct? So we should have some plane here. Okay, we should have some straight line here such that the road will be straight enough. Okay, we can't construct ideal straight. Okay, there will be some light slope here. Okay, so to do this, what the people will do is that they will go for the surveying. Okay, that is leveling. Okay, they will go for leveling. Leveling is a type of surveying. Okay, we will see. Suppose if I fix, say that it is at 100 meter. Okay, the road should be at the another end also, it should be 100 meter. Okay, ideally we can't construct 100 meter. Okay, so at some point it will be 100.010. Okay, we will see in very depth in the leveling. Just I'm giving an idea. Okay, here it will be 100. Okay, here it will be 101.00. Okay, so what we will do with the help of the auto level or dumpy level, what we will do, we will take the readings. Okay, we will take the readings at the respective points. So one should be take care about that the how we should take the levels, what is the starting point and what is the end point. In case of building, okay, so this is say this is your area, okay, so you can't directly go and construct your building in the provided area. So what you will do, you will just come to know that whether your site is 40 by 60 or 60 by 40, 30 by 40, whatever, okay. You will call the surveyor, correct? You will call the surveyor and you say them that just mark our plot, okay, our site. What he will do, he will do some surveying, okay, and he will fix some points and he will give, okay. This is 60 by 40 feet, okay. He will mark the mark your site and he will give, and later on what do you will construct your building here, correct? So not only in marking the site, in apartment also, see if this is, one second, if this is your apartment, okay, if this is your ground level, say it is at 100 meter, and you want to mark your slab top, okay, so obviously it will be our 3 meters, say 3 meter. With the help of the auto level, theodolite or total station, what we will do, we will mark the height of the building and we will give 103.00, okay. Suppose say I want to mark here, it is 106.00 meter, like this, okay. So surveying, it is used in every concept, okay. It is used in mining also, it is used in harbors, it is used in roadways, it is used in railways, okay. So in every branch of surveying it is used, okay. So we will see what is surveying. Surveying is nothing but the art and the science. Okay, it is the art and science determining the relative position of the various points or stations on the. It may be on the surface of the earth or above the earth. Okay, and you may measure the horizontal distance or you may measure the vertical distance. Okay, and you can take the angles, okay. So it is art of science determining the relative positions of various points or station. It may be on the surface of the earth or above the earth, just keep it in mind, on the surface of the earth or above the earth, by measuring the horizontal and vertical distance, angles, and taking the details of these points, and by preparing map or a plan to any scale, okay. This is the basic definition of surveying, okay. Don't forget, it is very important. See what we are doing here, a person, he is standing here, he what he is doing, he is taking the relative positions, okay. He is taking the relative positions. It may be any building here, okay, it may be any building, or it may be any road, harbor, etc. So what is he is taking the some points, okay. It may be on the earth or above the surface. It may be he is maybe taking the vertical distance or horizontal distance. He may be calculating the angles, okay. So this is the basic definition of surveying. One second. इधर क्या है सर, खाली लेजर आ रहा है, पेन नहीं आ रहा है। अच्छा सॉरी, एनेबल एडिटिंग नहीं किया मैंने, शायद वही प्रॉब्लम हो। हाँ अभी आ रहा है, थैंक यू। तो सडनली शट डाउन हो गया था ये। चालू है, चार्जिंग रखा मैंने, हो रहा है चार्जिंग।
क्या देखो
चार्जिंग है,
चालू है
चालू है, चालू है।
चालू रखो।
ओके सर। Okay. What are the objects of surveying? So the main thing is that to prepare a plan, to prepare a map or a plan to show the relative position of the objects on the surface of the earth. Okay, we have different types of maps, okay, and different types of plans. And another thing is that to establish the boundaries of the land. Initially starting I have said that if this is your land, you can't construct your building here, okay, outside the land. Okay, you should construct the land within the property. Okay, that is either it is 60 by 40 or 40 by 60, 20 by 30, whatever. Okay, you have to establish the boundaries, okay, of your site, correct? So it is used to select a suitable site for engineering project. Say that I want to construct a highway. Okay, so say here there is a line. 1 second, I will take a blank space. Okay, here I will go for white color. It will be white. Yeah. Okay, this is your area. Say this is Pune area. Okay, I will call this one is just Pune area. So now here you want to construct what? A road. It may be a national highway or state highway, correct? So I want to construct here. But the thing is that I can't just randomly construct anywhere here. Okay, so I should do some planning. Okay, I should do some survey. Okay, preliminary survey, recurrent survey. We have different types of surveys, detailed surveys. So what we will do first, say that here we have Eon IT Park. Okay, say here we have Swargate bus stand. Okay, say here we have airport. Okay, so here what we will do, we will do some surveying. Okay, depending upon the land availability. Okay, depend upon the number of vehicles. Okay, number of vehicles moving, different types of vehicles moving. This is also called as a surveying. Okay, so what we will do, by taking this all consideration, so we will connect the road, okay, between the stations. It may be any IT hub or a private sector, government sectors, it may be a code, etc. So with the availability and with respect to the surveying, recurrent survey and detailed survey, what we will do, first we will see whether we can construct. Suppose if there is a huge river, okay, we can't construct. Okay, if the width of the river is more, and instead of constructing the bridge, what we will do, what we will take the some another route. Okay, like this what we will do, we will do some different types of surveys. Okay, so next, okay, use of surveying. Okay, what is the use of surveying? To prepare the topographical maps. Okay, when you open your mobile map, okay, when you open the map in your Android mobile or over ISO, so you will having some different terrains. Okay, one will show the traffic, one will show the terrain area. Okay, one will show some default. Okay, so these all type I will show. I have the figure of the map also. So to determine or to make a map with respect to topographical elements like hills, valleys, rivers location, forest location, where the villages are located, towns are located. So these all types of the things will come under the topographical map. So this here you can see the topographical map of India. This is not updated one. Just I took an image from Google. So if you want, and one more thing, if you want any map, okay, if you want any map, what you can do, you can directly log into the Google and search in the Google like uh, surveying of India. Okay, you will get all different types of maps. It may be a political map, it may be any topographical map, etc. Okay. Next one is cadastral maps, okay, which shows the boundaries of the field, okay, then plots, houses, properties, etc. Then what is engineer maps, which shows the properties of engineering work such as it may be a buildings, roads, railways, dams, canals, etc. Okay. Then what are the counter maps? Counter map is also one of the most important map that you should study. Okay, it will represent the hills and the valleys. Okay, with different types of. I will show the map diagram. It will be like round, round, round like this. Okay, so what are these counter, or we will call these lines are the counter lines. Okay? So by seeing this counter map or counter lines, we will come to know that whether there is a mountain or there is a valley. Okay. So to know the topography of the area, to find out the best site for the road construction, railway construction, bridge construction, reservoirs, canals, etc. Okay. And what are the military maps? See here, military maps are the one of the accurate maps. Okay, they will be having precaution up to 0.001 m. Okay, then we have geological map, archaeological map. Archaeological maps, it means it will indicate, suppose if this is, say if this is your area, it will locate, say that Ellora caves, it is located here, it will Bhima Shankar, it is located here. Okay, Mahabaleshwar, it is located here. Some archaeological sites, okay, which represent the archaeological site is nothing but the archaeological maps. Okay. Next, to set out the works and transfer details from the from the work on the ground. So we have some different types of maps. So this first one is, this is the topographical map. Next one, we have the cadastral map, engineer's map, counters map. Okay, see, these are the counter lines. The counter lines are the lines which join the equal RLs. Okay, so what is RL, we will study in further in leveling, we will study it. Okay, we have seen this type of maps. Okay, these are the counter lines. Okay, geological maps. Okay, archaeological map, initially I have said it will locate some different archaeological sites. Military maps. Okay, now here we have two types of surveying. One is plane surveying and another one is geodetic surveying. Okay, so what is plane surveying and geodetic surveying? If I take the blank once again. Yeah. Okay, we know that Earth is in spherical in shape. Okay, so we have plane surveying and geodetic surveying. Okay, so what is the main difference between plane surveying and geodetic surveying? See, if I take this one, this, I'm catching these grid lines. Okay, so if I'm doing, if I'm surveying very small area, okay, say I'm surveying only this much area, so this surveying, what I will call it, I will call it as a plane surveying. Why I will call this one as plane surveying means that here we are not actually considering the curvature of the earth. Okay, see here, if I call this one as 1 and this one as 2, here the points are 1 and 2. Okay, these are flat. We will consider the distance between or the space between the two stations and the surface is flat. But in geodetic surveying, if I draw the diagram a little bit bigger, sorry, okay. So this is our earth. I have just taken the cross section of it. So if in geodetic surveying, what we will do, we will just consider the actual shape of the earth. Means we will not consider earth as a flat. Okay, say this is my very big area. Say it is greater than 240 kilometer square. Means the total area is 240 square kilometer. Okay, if I call this station as A and this station as B, okay, if I plot it on the earth, say the station A it is here and station B it is here. Okay, see here we can see the actual curve of the earth. Okay, initially in plane surveying it was at this point, correct? So it was we consider it as a plane, but here the distance between the two stations are greater, correct? So in geodetic surveying, what we will do, we will consider earth as a, sorry, in plane surveying, what we will do, we will consider earth as a flat. In geodetic surveying, what we will do, we will consider earth in the spherical in shape. Okay, and plane surveying is done for very lesser area, and geodetic surveying is done for the greater area. Okay, what is plane surveying? The type of surveying in which Earth's surface is considered as plane or flat. In plane surveying, what we are doing? The type of surveying in which Earth's surface is considered as plane and the curvature of the Earth is ignored. We are not considering Earth in its original shape. This is the spherical in shape, but we are not considering it in a spherical shape. We are considering the Earth in a flat. Okay. So in such surveying, the line joining any two stations is considered to be a straight, means a straight line. The line joining between the two stations A and B, it is straight. Okay. When you come to the geodetic surveying, the type of surveying in which the curvature of the earth is taken into the consideration, means we are actually considering the shape of the earth because the distance between the two stations are greater. Okay, the distance between the two stations are very greater. So what we are doing, we are considering the actual curvature of the earth. The line joining any two stations is considered as curved line. In plane surveying, it was a plain line, but in geodetic surveying, it was a curved line. Okay, this is the about plane surveying and geodetic surveying. So here we have some difference between the plane surveying and geodetic surveying. In exam, he will ask you, okay. So what he will say that write the few points with respect to the difference between the geodetic surveying and plane surveying. Okay. First in plane surveying, okay, and this one is geodetic. The earth is considered as plane. Here it is considered as the curved in nature. The curvature of the earth is ignored. Both the points explain the same. Okay, here the curvature of the earth is taken into account. The line joining any two station is, it is straight in line and it is curved in line. The triangle formed by any 3 point is considered as a plane. Okay, I will explain what is this. See, here I have different stations. Okay, this is my baseline. Okay, I will call this one as station A, station B. Station A, station, what do you mean by station? Station is nothing but the points. Okay, this is a station A, station B. I want to survey a huge area. Okay, so huge area, what I will divide this whole area into number of triangles. Okay, why triangles? Because it has only 3 sides. Okay, and it will give accurate readings. So we will go for in triangular shapes. Okay, so in this triangle, means while surveying the bigger area, what we are doing, we will construct some triangles, and this will be our baseline. So while doing this in plane surveying, we will consider this one as the plane angles. Okay, the angle will be the plane angles. In detail you will see regarding this. In geodetic surveying, the area will be quite larger. Okay, okay, in geodetic surveying, the angles of the triangle are considered in sphericals. Okay, it will be alpha and b, station A and B is there. So while taking the angle, say this is called as the midpoint, we will consider alpha, and we have some corrections for this with respect to sphericals. We will call this one alpha 1. So regarding to geodetic surveying, we will see in the next year. So here what we will do, we will directly go for the plane surveying. In plane surveying, what we will do, we will directly take the 30-degree, whatever you get in the theodolite, total station, etc. Directly we will take the readings. And when we should carry the plane surveying, okay, when the area is not 250, it is 240 square kilometers. Okay, when the area, suppose this is my area, if I call this one as 2 meter and 2 meter, the total area, it will be 2 by 2 equals to 4, correct? 4 square meter. Suppose like this only, if your total area of the field, which is lesser than 240 square kilometer, then we will go for the, sorry, it is 250 only, sorry, 250, which if it is lesser than 250, then we will go for the plane surveying. If it is greater than 250, if the whole area, okay, if it is greater than 250 square kilometer, then we will go for the geodetic survey. Okay, next, most important for the examination, it will be fixed question for your examination. What are the fundamental principle of surveying? Very most important. And if you go for any interviews, they will ask this question. Okay, there are two principles. Okay, principle number 1, principle number 2. The principle number 1 will say that working to part, means working from whole to part. Okay, the second principle says that locate a point by at least 2 measurements. Okay, so working from, I will write here, working from whole to part. Okay, what is working from whole to part? See, this is my area. Okay, what I will do, first I will fix the boundaries. Okay, first I will fix the boundaries, then I will do some parts. Okay, I will do some parts like this. Okay, this is nothing but the working from whole to part. Why we should start from this? See, if you are going, say, I will take it here. This is my line. Okay, if I start from part to whole, okay, smaller, smaller, smaller. Okay, if I do like this, means there will be a lot of errors will be formed. Okay, when you finally reach this area, there will be a lot of errors that you will form. Okay, when you start from part to whole. Okay, so instead of going for that, what we will do, we will go from whole to part, that is from bigger to smaller. In the local language, we can say that bigger to smaller. Always we should work from the whole to part. In locating a point by at least 2 measurement. See, basic geometry. Okay, here you have a line here. Okay, say it is 4 centimeter. In 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th, 10th, up to your 12th. Okay, you have done this. See, this is your 4-meter line. I will call this one as A, I will call this one as B, and I want to locate the point C. I know here in the question he has given AB equals to 4 centimeter, AC equals to 3 centimeter, and BC equals to 5 centimeter. Okay, how to locate this point? It is said by the principle number 2. I will take the whiteboard to make it clear. Okay, sorry. This is your 4 centimeter line A, B. Okay, I want to locate the point C. Okay, and he has given AC equals to 5 centimeter and BC equals to 3 centimeter. Okay, so how to mark this point? In your childhood, you have used the compass or trija. Means here it will have, you have some pencil here. Okay. Okay, I hope you have used this one, correct? So what you have done, this is your scale. Okay, this is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeter. Okay, to mark the line AC, what you have done, you have taken this compass and you have measured 1 to 5 centimeter and you kept the point at this A and you have drawn an arc like this, correct? Again, you want to BC, what you have done, you have taken the compass and just adjusted with the scale 1 to 3 centimeter and you have drawn an arc like this, correct? So after doing that, what you have done, you took the scale and you joined the line like this, correct? So after doing that done, that one, what you have mentioned the scale like this. So this is how you have marked the point C. This one, this is what the principle 2 will say. Okay, we should locate a point by at least 2 measurements. Okay, see, in principle number 1, little bit we will go to depth. Okay, see, this is your whole apple. Okay, what we have done, we have made it into parts, correct? See, this is your line. I will call this one as A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so what we will do, we will first fix the boundaries. Okay, and we will go on dividing the areas. Okay, if you see the layout plan of your area, okay, layout plan of your area, there, say this is your layout plan of Kharadi region, whatever. Here they will make some plots like this. Otherwise, in your home only today, you can ask your dad that show me the layout plan of our area. Okay, they will show like this. Okay, here in between there will be a road. Okay, this is plot. This is the house of roll number 1. This is the house of roll number 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Similarly, we will having the plot number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depend upon this surveys. What they will do first, they will fix the survey bigger part. Okay. First, they will fix the boundaries. Then they will divide the plot. It may be 60 by 40 side. The second plot may be little bit bigger, say 70 by 40. Okay, depending upon that they will do. If you go for say this one in a reverse process, first what you will do, first I will plot the, sorry, I will do the survey of the plot number 1, then I will go for the number 2. Now then what I will go for number 3. If you go on doing like this, errors will increase. Error will increase. So we should not do like this. What we should do, we should go for working from whole to the part. Okay, see, in surveying large areas, a system of control points are identified. Okay, and they are located with the very high precision. See, these are the control points. Okay, main stations. Okay, what we should do, we should identify them, and we should mark them with a very high accuracy. Correct? Then this is called as the bigger part we have done. The second control points are located with the less precision method. Okay, if you do any small mistake here inside this one, no problem, because you are not going outside your boundary. Okay, the whatever mistake that you are doing inside your boundary area. Okay, so it is, we can do with lesser accuracy, not that least accuracy, we can do with the lesser accuracy, but the boundary areas, for example, if I want to say that, if I take India, okay, you can see the POK, occupied Kashmir. There is a district, sorry, we don't want to go for that one. Okay, this is India. Okay, here we have Pakistan. Okay, here we have India. These lines, what I will call these, I will call as a very high control points, or LOC, line of control. These lines are made with a very high precision, with a high accuracy. Okay, because it divides Pakistan and India. Correct? It divides Pakistan and India. If I make with the lesser accuracy, means the Pakistan will say that you have came inside our area. Okay, suppose Pakistan make a survey and they with the lesser accuracy, and they come inside the India, means India will say that you have your line is under Indian area or Indian territory. So these lines, okay, boundary lines should be marked with a high accuracy. Okay, after that, inside the states are divided. Correct? Inside the states are divided, you can divide with them lesser accuracy. Okay, suppose this is my India. Okay, here I have Ladakh, here I have Jammu Kashmir, etc. Okay, this is Pakistan. Okay, if I have made a line with a very high accuracy, means no problem. Now in dividing the state, if you make any least accuracy, means no problem, because it is made with between the neighbors. Okay, between, because this is our total India. Okay, we can't do anything in India, but we can't share our boundaries with the Pakistan. So this, I want to say that the concept of working from whole to part, the boundaries should be fixed very well. The boundaries should be fixed very well, and the inner areas we can do with a lesser accuracy. This is say Jammu Kashmir, this is Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, etc. Here if you make any mistakes, means it is not problem, because it is within India. Okay, so the main thing is that principle one says that working from whole to part. Next, the third point, the details of the localized areas are measured and plotted with respect to the secondary control points. Okay. Okay, the details of localized areas are measured and plotted with respect to the secondary control point. Say this is our Maharashtra. Okay, this is our Maharashtra. What we are doing? We want to plot the Pune. Okay, this is a Pune. We are using the secondary control points to locate the Pune. Again in Pune, say this is Pune, and again in Pune we want to mark the Kharadi. We are using this tertiary control points. So what we are doing, we are going from bigger to smaller. From India to state, state to city, city to area, or okay, we can call it as area. It may be Kharadi area, whatever. So we can't go in reverse direction. If we go in reverse direction, there will be a huge errors. Okay, I hope you understood this one. This is called from the, this is this is called working from whole to part. This principle in surveying helps in localizing the errors. Okay, if surveying is carried out by adding localized area, error accumulated, that only I have said that if you go in reverse area, if you made, say, I will write it here, India, Maharashtra, Pune, Kharadi. Okay, if you made an error of 10% here, okay, Here, while going in reverse direction, here it will be 15% of error. Here it will be 25%, 20% of error. Here it will be 30% of error, because error goes on adding up. That one we'll call as accumulated error or cumulated error. Okay, and become unacceptable. Okay, and finally you will come here and you say that for the Pakistan, say that no, our land is coming in your area, so give up our land. They will, by saying that, they won't sit quiet, correct? So they won't accept it when the large area is covered. Okay, so the thing is that first we have to do the larger area, then we should go for the lesser area. So anybody having doubt here up to this point, comment yes or no. If anybody having doubt means comment why. Sorry. Anybody having doubt means comment yes or no. If you have doubt means comment yes. If you don't having any doubt means comment no. Y or N. No. Okay. Anybody having doubt means you can comment Y. If you don't having any doubt means you can comment. If anybody having doubt means you can comment yes, Y or N. What about others? 24 people are live. No. Okay. I hope the first. Okay. Thank you. I hope that the first principle you got it. See, surveying is one thing is that surveying is very simple subject. Okay. Only the thing is that you have to grasp the concept. Once you understand the concept, okay, then nothing is there. Only you have to apply some basic mathematics, okay, and basic knowledge. Okay. Nothing is there. Nothing is there in civil engineering or surveying. Okay. Just and the main important thing is that understand the concept. Okay. We will go for the second principle. Initially, I have said you. Okay. Can anybody unmute and tell me whether you will call this one as compass or trija? What you will call this one? Here we will have some pencil. Anyone can unmute and you can tell me. In geometry we have used C. In geometric box you will get. What you will call for that one? Compass or what?
Compass.
Compass. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. See. So in the second principle, it is clearly that, see here I have two stations. Okay, this is A and B. I want to locate the third station. The one thing is that you can have the length. Okay, this is 5 centimeter and 3 centimeter. Okay, with the help of the compass, we can cut the arc and we can join the points. Okay, so with the help of the measurements, we can construct. With the help of the angles, we can construct. See, if I have two angles, okay, what I will do, I will keep the protractor here. Okay, this is 90 degree. Say this is 45. This line is 45 degree. Correct. I will measure the 45 degree. Okay, I will give means I will extend the line like this. I don't know whether where this line will bisect. I will explain in whiteboard because these are very important concepts. Okay, see here I have a line A, B, okay, and I want to locate the station C. The second principle says that we should have at least 2 points, okay, 2 measurement. Here in question he has given the angle BAC, it is 45 degree, and angle ABC, it is 120 degree, correct? So I want to locate the point C. How I will do? First I will come to the station A. Okay, at this station what I will do, I will keep my protractor. Sorry, just I will interchange this one. Okay, first I will keep my protractor here. Angle BAC, how much it is? So I have written on it, is correct. Okay, 45 degree. What I will do, I will keep my protractor here. Okay, this is 90 degree and here we have some 45 degree. I will take the point. I will means I don't know what is the length. Okay, I don't know what is the length here. What I will do, just I will construct a line. Okay. Then what I will do, again I will shift my protector at this station B, and here it is given 120 degree. So what I will do, I will extend my line until it bisect the line AC. Okay. So with the help of two angles, okay, with the help of two angles, what I have done, I have established the point C. Similarly, some inside you will have some cases that you have station A, okay, station B, okay. Here he has given one angle and one length. So I want to establish the point C. Here he has given the AC length equals to 6 centimeter, and he has given angle ABC equals to 110 degree. Okay, what I will do, with the help of the compass, I will take 6 centimeter and I will draw the arch like this. Okay, or what I will do, first I will go, okay, you can draw the arch or you can go from the point B. What I will do, I will keep my protector here and I will construct a line like this. Okay, and arc will cut like this. So with the help of one length and one angle, we can construct the third station or third point. This is what the second principle is going to say. Say in field, okay, in ground, you can't use the protector. Okay, you can't use the compass. Then with the help, how we will do, with the help of the tape, chain, we have some compass, okay, magnetic prismatic compass we have, okay. Then we have theodolite, we have total stations, okay. With the help of these instruments, we will measure the third points, okay. See, the control points are selected in the area and the distance between them is measured accurately, means station A and station B. Okay, the line joining these 2 points is plotted on the scale on the drawing sheet. Now the desired point, that is new station C, okay, can be plotted by measuring the suitable measurement from the given control points. Means here he may give some angles, angle θ1, θ2, or he may give the distance x1 or x2 or L1, L2, like this. Okay, so with the help of those measurements, we will locate the third station. Okay, this is what it is there in the principle number 2. Now, classification of surveying. Okay, based on accuracy, okay, based on instrument we will use, okay, based on the place of survey, purpose of survey, and methods of survey. Okay, here also we have some other classification, that is based on accuracy, instruments used, where we are using, purpose of using, and method, which method you are using. Okay, based on accuracy, we have plane surveying and geodetic surveying, which we already seen it. Based on the instrument, we have chain, compass surveying, okay, chain and compass surveying, leveling with the help of the auto levels or dumpy level. I will show you the figure also. Plane table surveying, theodolite, tachymetry, photogrammetry, and EMD. Okay, we will see one by one. Just I will give a brief introduction, or just I will give a brief images or introduction with respect to these things, and we are seeing in depth in the unit number this and this. Sorry, this is also seen in first unit. This is also seen in first unit. This is also seen in. So we have in, and this is seen in the second unit. So we will see each and everything apart from the photography, tachymetry, okay, and EMD, which is in the advanced surveying. So what is chain surveying? So chain surveying is nothing but it is a chain. Okay, here you can see these are the chains. It may be of 20 meter, 30 meter, 100 foot, okay, 66 feet. Okay, so we have different length of chains. It may be a 20 meter chain, 30 meter chain, 100 feet chain, 66 feet chains. Okay, we will see different types of chains also. Okay, different type of chains, different types of tapes. Okay, Why we use to measure the horizontal distance or linear distance. Okay, we won't measure angles with respect to chains. Okay, so chain surveying, the simplest type of surveying, which in which only linear measurements are made with the chain or tape. Okay, angular measurement cannot be taken because we don't have any compass here. It means 0 degree, 30 degree, 60 degree, like this. Okay, we don't have any compass here. So to measure the, see here there is one building, okay, and here there is another building. I want to measure the distance between these two buildings. Means what I will do, I will take either I will take the chain or I will take the tape, whichever is available with me. Okay, this is used for to measure the distance. Next one, compass surveying. Okay, compass surveying, here we used to measure the angles between the two stations. Okay, see, suppose I will go for the whiteboard. Here I have a station A, correct, and there is another station B. Here there is another station C, another, and say some another station at this point, call it as D. Now what I'm doing, I'm standing at this station A. Okay, I want to measure the angle between A and A with respect to B, with respect to C, and with respect to D. Then how I will take the angles? So in compass we have a different concept, and in theodolite it is a different machine. We have different method of calculating the angles. So as I'm talking with respect to the compass, okay, first I will show you the figure of the compass. See, this is the compass. Another bigger figure for you. Once you get what is compass, then so this is compass, okay, which will indicate the north direction. Okay, which will indicate the north direction, and it will consist of some graduational scale. Okay, I hope this is not clear. Okay, well, inside here you can see. So here you can see 330 degree, 340 degree, 330 degree, 360, okay, 10 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree. Okay, these some graduation, in the graduation ring we will see some scales, okay, regarding to the angles. So what we will do, we'll come back to the slide. First unit, what I'm doing, I'm going in very depth, okay, because without basics, okay, you can't understand anything. So the first unit, what I'm doing, I'm taking it little bit lengthier. I'm explaining very each and every concept, okay. And without basics you can't go through into any subject, okay, because the basics are most important. So as I was explaining, this is my station A, station B, okay, station C. Okay, I want to determine the angle between A, B, what is angle at B, angle at C. So when you keep the compass, okay, say that the north direction is in this way. Okay, this is my north. Okay, you know what is north, south, east, west. Okay, so when you keep your compass, it will point that in that needle, sorry, in that compass, the needle will point towards the northern side, in geological northern side. So, and here what we have, here we have some slits. Okay, with the help of this one, what we will do, we will see the station B. Okay, so with respect to this one, we will get the angle. Okay, with respect to north one, we will get the angle. Similarly, what we will do, we will rotate the compass and we will see the station C. Okay, we will we will get some graduations, okay, and say that here it is 160 degree something. So we will measure the angle 160 degree. And why it is used? Okay, see here, this is my, I will clear it. Just I will give the hint. Okay, see here I want to do some road survey. Okay, I'm doing some road survey here. Okay, this is my starting point. We'll call this one as station A. Okay, so to start this surveying, what we will do, we will take some reference point. Okay, here you can take some electrical pole. Say this is an electrical pole, or some, if you have any, नहीं चालू है क्या? ओके मैडम, ओके. एक मिनट. ओके मैडम. Oh, yes. Okay, so that was about the compass surveying. Okay, we have different type of compass surveying. Okay, so prismatic surveying, compass, surveyor's compass. Okay, these are some cross sections. So in detail we will see in the respective unit. Okay, so next we have levelings. Okay, initially I have said that what is the use of levels, why we should take the level. So this is, if you, this is your benchmark and this is your staff. Okay, here you will get some reading 1.2 meter, and you want to shift this reading, or sorry, this is your benchmark, and you want to say I want to give another level around 1.3. Okay, with the help of the dumpy levels also we can do by shifting the levels. Okay, here we have another different methods, that is rise and fall method, height of the instrument methods. Okay, so we will see in the respective units. So if you come to the leveling, the type of surveying is used to determine the vertical distance, okay, or elevations, and the relative heights of the points with the help of the instrument known as level or leveling surveys. Okay, means the difference between the height. This is say this is the greater building and this is the lesser building. If you want to know the distance between these two, with the help of the leveling you can do that one. Okay, if you are using total session, then it does not makes much difference. Directly you can get the levels. Okay, here in this figure you can see the formation with respect to the datum line. Okay, they have made them some surveys to determine the RL formations. Okay, so this is also we will see in the respective units. This is plane table surveying. This is used to locate the respective points on the drawing sheets. Okay, whatever there is, it is there on the field, we will draw it on the table, plane table, with the respect to using with help of using the plane tables. Okay, so these are the components of the plane tables. Okay, we have some trough compass, alidite, okay, U4, plumb bob, stand, table, etc. This is, we will see in the second unit. It is a graphical method of surveying in which field work and the plotting are done both are done simultaneously. Okay, whatever that is there in the field, you can directly draw it on the this one drawing sheets. Okay, this is theodolite. Okay, theodolite is the instrument for measuring the angles in horizontal and vertical planes. Okay, here we will have some, this one, if you see this one, here we will have some graduational scale where we can measure the vertical angles, and in a horizontal basis we have some graduation scale where you can measure the horizontal angles. Okay, this is the telescope, and this one is the electronic theodolite. Okay, where you can measure up to 1 second, least count of 1 second. In tachymetric also, it is a system of rapid surveying by which the position, both horizontal and verticals, of a point on the Earth's surface relative to one another are determined without using chain and tape. Initially, I have said that. Okay. Photographic surveying. Okay, with the help of the aerial vehicles, we will do some surveying. That is nothing but the photogrammetric survey. It is a science of making the measurement of from photographs, especially for 3D data. Okay, and object reconstructions. Okay, this you will see in the advanced surveying. Okay, we will call this one as a photogrammetry. Here we have different types of scales with different types of methods to determine the to construct a map. Okay. Okay, EDM is nothing but the electronic distance measuring survey. Okay, here we are using some total sessions, or we are using some what you say, like a Doppler effect. Okay, means in with the help of the board we will determine the depth of the ocean. In the same way, with the help of the laser beam, what we will do, we will determine the distance between the two stations. Okay, it is a surveying instrument for measuring the distance electronically between the 2 points through electromagnetic waves. Suppose this is your station here. Okay, the electromagnetic rays will come here and hit it, and it will come back to a machine. Okay, here we know that speed equals to the distance traveled by time taken. Okay, the speed will be constant here, and the machine, it will calculate the time, how much time it has taken to travel and come back. Okay, so distance, it is taken by speed into time, so we will get the distance between the two stations. Okay, based on the place. Okay, we have land surveying, topographical, cadastral, city survey, hydrographical survey, underground, and aerial. Okay, purpose. Okay, here we have engineering purpose. Okay, defense, geological. Starting only I have shown you some figures. Okay, mining, archaeological, routes, reconnaissance survey, preliminary survey, control survey, and location survey. Okay, these are the different types of surveys. And based on the methods, whether you are going for triangulation method or open close method. Triangulation method, initially I have said that the entire area we will divide into number of triangles. Okay, see here you can see that it is divided into entire triangles. Okay, in traversing it will be open and closed. Okay, but here we will get the accurate measurements and accurate maps. Okay, difference between the maps and the plan. Okay, so what is plan? Plan is the graphical representation of some scale. Sorry, it is a graphical representation to some scale of the feature on, near, or below the surface of the earth as projected or horizontal plane. Okay, this is nothing but a plan. In example, you can take the building plan. Next, we have map. It is a graphical graphical projection on a horizontal plane is small. The plan is called as map. Suppose the bigger area is reduced and it is drawn, means we will call it as a map. Okay, if we ask the difference map, we can study a part or a whole of the earth with the help of a map. Okay, the map the plane is detail of drawing of small area. Okay, here you can take an India map, here you can take it as a building plan. A map contains a lot of information. Okay, in plan, details are given in the form of symbols. A map shows only the very important features of the areas. The plan can show the length and breadth. Okay, this is the major difference between the map and plane. Okay, you can take an example of world India map and world map, building map. Okay, architectural plan. Sorry, building plan and architectural plan. Okay. Then we have left with scale. So one thing I will do, I will finish it up to the scales. Okay. The next ranging. So one more thing, going for the scale, I want to tell that don't miss the next class. Okay, it is very most important. Okay, if you miss the next class means 100% won't understand what is there in this survey. Okay, the next class what I'm going to explain is that it is most important thing. Okay, so try not to miss the next class. Okay.
सर
Huh?
ही पीपीटी शेअर करा ना ग्रुपला.
Oh, sure, I will.
हा, थँक्यू सर.
Okay. See, I will finish with the last concept of scale. Okay. If I come back to the previous thing is that if I want to draw the India map, okay, on a sheet, then I need a sheet which is equal to the India. India. Okay. So it is not possible to draw India in that bigger scale or the bigger paper. So what we are doing, we are reducing the size of India to some scale. Okay, and we are plotting it on the paper. Okay, say that your A4 sheet size will be 210 mm by 297 mm. Okay, the size of your A4 sheet paper. Okay, if I say in centimeter, 21.0 centimeter by 29.7 centimeter. Okay, see in this sheet of paper, A4 sheet, I want to draw or I want to take printout of India map or world map, or it may be your layout map, or it may be a building plan. Okay, so what we are doing, it will be reduced into the scale. Okay, so what is that scale? How we have to reduce? Is there any standard in the scale? So we will see that one. Okay, what is scale? It is the basic requirement for the preparation of plans or maps. Initially, I have said that we can't. So it is impossible to build a paper which is equals to size of India. Okay, so we will reduce it. Okay. The proportion or a ratio between the dimension adopted for drawing and the corresponding dimension of the object. It means that actual size of India and what you have drawn, actual size of India, okay, and what the size that you have drawn on the A4 sheet paper. Okay, the proportion between these two or the ratio between these two is quite important, that we will call as the scale. You will say that this draw a building with respect to 1:100 scale, draw a building plan with respect to 1:50 scale, or 1:2000, or 1:1, like that. Okay, so the ratio or proportion, you can take it as in a proportion or in terms of ratio, like this. Okay, so this is quite important. So that one we will call it as representation factor. Okay, the ratio of the distance on the drawing, okay, to the corresponding actual length of the object, means the size of India map on your paper to the size of actual size of India. Okay, I will repeat it. That is size of India map on your paper to the actual size of India. It is nothing but the RF or representation fraction. Okay, it is given by, here you can see we have a formula, dimension of the drawing to the dimension of the object. Drawing is nothing but the what you are drawing it on the paper, and object is nothing but the actual size of the object. Okay, and one thing is that both should be in same unit. Either you can keep it in terms of centimeters, you can keep it in terms of millimeters, you can keep in terms of kilometers. Okay, the unit should be same. Okay, say that if you are here, you are taking, I will take in terms of kilometer and I will take in terms of centimeter, it does not matter, means sorry, it is not good. Okay, it will give a wrong scale. So it should be centimeter by centimeter, or kilometer by kilometer, or mm upon mm. So we should keep the units in the same fraction, means the unit should be given same to the either in numerator and denominator. Okay, to construct a scale, the data is required. That is, we need the RF. Before going to that one, I will show you some example. Okay, see, I have a 10 meter. See, this is a line of 10 meter. Okay, I want to draw it on the paper. Okay, and my paper size, it is how much? 21 centimeter by 29.7 centimeter. This is my A4 sheet. Okay, if this I convert this into the centimeter, means it will be, okay, 1000 centimeter, correct? So I can't draw 100 meter or 1000 centimeter here, correct? So what I should do, I should convert it into the scale, or called a smaller length. Correct? I want to reduce this one. So what I will do? So I want to reduce this 10 meter into 1 centimeter. Okay, I want to convert this 10 meter into 1 centimeter. First thing what I will do, we know that RF equals to actual size upon drawing scale upon the actual size. So here I want 1 centimeter, correct? What is the actual size? It is 10 meter. So I can't keep it in different units. Here it is in centimeter, here it is in meter. Whatever it is, convert into the centimeter. So I will multiply with the 100. So it will be 1 upon how much? 1000. So we will call this one as, this line has drawn to the scale of 1:1000. Okay, this is how we will convert the line into the scale. Suppose if you get a building drawing, say this is 6 meter, this is 4 meter, okay, and you want, and he say that scale to 1:100, then how we will do? You have to convert this 6 meter into if you want to draw it in centimeter, convert this into the centimeter. Okay, then apply the scale, you will get, you can draw the, sorry, if this is your A4 sheet, you can draw a smaller line.
So your screen is not visible.
Not visible?
Yes, sir, not visible.
Okay. Then the first thing we need the RF. Okay, then the units which is to be represented. Okay, whether you want to represent in centimeter or you want to represent in millimeter. Okay, that you should take that is millimeter or centimeter, or in terms of meter, kilometer, okay, or in MKS system, or inches, feet, yards, that you have to select. Okay. The maximum length which is, sorry, with the maximum length which it should measure, if the maximum length is not given, some suitable length can be assumed. Okay. The maximum length of the scale to be constructed on the drawing sheet equals to RF, whether it is 1 upon 100, 1 upon 1000, 1 upon 50, whatever, multiplied with the maximum length of the scale should be measured. Okay. And here we have two different types of plane scale and diagonal scales. Okay. So up to this point, anybody having doubt? Anybody having doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. What about others? Shall I continue or shall I take tomorrow?
Sir, tomorrow because we are having lecture.
Which one?
Sir,
Okay.
just now ma'am posted a meeting.
Okay, no problem. So what you do for your attendance, just comment your roll numbers. Okay, I will directly copy it to the attendance sheet. Okay, comment your roll numbers in the comment section, and you can leave the class. And if anybody having doubt, just get clarified. Okay. You can comment your roll number and you can leave the class.